No Game No Life follows the neat brother and sister duo of Soro and Zero, who become insanely popular in the gaming community because of their extraordinary gaming skill. They are known for being unbeatable, and after getting pressed by their talent, a god from Underworld summoned them into his own world, Disboard. As soon as entering this world, Soro and Zero realize that it is a real-life gaming world where stealing, war, and killing are prohibited, and all the issues and conflict are resolved by playing high-stake games. This strange new world gave the duo a new purpose in life: to beat everyone who crossed their path and become the new gods of this world. For people who like to know the genre of this anime, the genre are comedy, fantasy, and edgy. Theme is isekai and strategy game. This is PG-13 rated anime. This anime has 12 episodes. Now and then, here and there, while walking home from school, Sue, the main protagonist, tries to save a strange girl, Lalaru, from kidnapping and is accidentally transported to an alternate Earth, which is on the brink of being swallowed by the sun. There he meets a American girl from his time, Sarah, who was mistakenly captured because of her looks, who similar to Lalaru. Sue become unwillingly member of this crazy and cowardly king, Hendo's army, and Sarah is forced into the quarters of adult soldier to be impregnated and is traumatized by her repeated Lalaru, who can create water a reality at the time using her pendant, is both a civilian and a victim in a world where factions are willing to fight and die for her abilities, and at the same time keep her locked up. The genre of this anime is adventure, drama, fantasy, and sci-fi. The theme is isekai and military. This is R-rated anime and the total episode is 13.
Cos'è? Questo posto! Tu chi sei?
Drifters. Shimizu Toyohisa, while involved in the Battle of Sekigahara, is fatally wounded when he suddenly found himself transformed into a corridor of doors, where a vegetative man at a desk waiting for him, faced with only a stoic man named Morosaki and hundreds of doors on both sides. Toyohisa is pulled into the nearest door and into a world completely unlike his own. There, Toyohisa meets other great warriors like him who have been transported as well to be a part of a group known as Drifters. The strange land is populated by all manners of fantastical creatures as well as warriors from different era. Now, Toyohisa and his group of unconventional heroes had to battle in a brand new world war to help the Empire subject while protecting the world from the brutal end. The genre are action, adventure, and comedy and fantasy. The theme is adult cast, historical, isekai, and samurai. The rating of this anime is R17+. Total episode of this anime is 12. Log Horizon. The world of Log Horizon explores the massive multiplayer online role-playing game MMORPG Elder Tale that become a global success with user base of millions of players. However, after a game update, 13,000 Japanese gamers who are logged on at that time of the update suddenly found themselves transported into the virtual gaming world and drowning there in the game avatar. In the midst of the event, a socially awkward gamer named Zero, along with his friends Naitsubu and Akatsuki, decide to team up so that they may face this world, which unfortunately has now become their reality, along with these challenges and the obstacle ahead of them. Praised for its unique tale, the anime explored the element of gaming through the eye of a master strategist. The genre of this anime is action, adventure, fantasy. The theme is adult cast and video game. The rating of this anime is PG-13. Total episodes are 62.
それもう一般人じゃないよね
cautious hero, a novice goddess named Krista, is placed in charge of saving the world of Gelbrande from a demon lord by summoning a human hero in a S-class world. Gelbrande is extremely dangerous, so Krista is carefully to select a hero who will be able to prevail against the enemies. After a lot of searching, she finally settled on Seiya, whose star seems many times greater than any other candidate. However, upon summoning him, copy and paste found to her dismay that Seiya is ridiculously conscious of everything, including her, refusing to even enter Gelbrand's safest area till he has trained into a level that he is comfortable with. Seiya intervention drive the goddess crazy. However, when the pair finally do set foot on the Gelbrande, events may prove his hero's concept is well justified. The genre of this anime is action, adventure, comedy, and fantasy. The theme is isekai parody. The rating of this anime is R17. Total episode is 12. Overlord, the isekai anime where main character is transported to another world, is the most common thing you can come across as a fan of this genre. Overlord is another such virtual world anime based on the role-playing game star Iron Gon alias Momonga, a powerful guild-leading wizard who can be harmed by any physical attack unless the weapon are actually able to crush his bones. With his magic at his disposal and the mysterious item under his control, Momonga is easily the most powerful character in the game. Unlike other action-packed anime, Overlord showcases Momonga's unique ability in the midst of his newfound and often hilariously tedious adventure in the MMORPG. The genre of this anime, that is my favorite anime, is action, adventure, and fantasy. The theme is isekai. This is R17 rated anime. Total episode is 52.
まさか俺、ディアブロになってる
Now get ready for how not to summon a demon lord. Takuma is a neat gamer who is mistakenly transported to the virtual world of his favorite role-playing game, Cross Reverie, with the parents of his own character in the game,
the demon lord Diablo.
The two young girls, Rame and Sia, who summon him, attempt to use a spell to make our friend protagonist their servant, but due to his magical ring with the ability Magic Reflection, both end up becoming his servant instead. With a serious case of social anxiety, our friend decides to act like his character while interacting with others and make use of his high stature and vast knowledge of Cross Reverie's lore to survive in his new environment, traveling along with Ram and Sira to look for a way to remove their slave collar while helping them with their own personal issues that led to them summoning him in the first place. The genre of this anime is comedy, fantasy, and ecchi. The theme is harem and isekai. This is PG-13 rated anime. Total episode is 22. Rising of a Sealed Hero. One of the best isekai anime series, Rising of the Sealed Hero, is based on a light novel that follows the journey of Naofumi, who is summoned to another world to serve as Sealed Hero, one of the 4 legendary heroes. However, after being falsely accused of sexual harassment, Naofumi's life changed completely. With a rising storm of hate and mistrust in his heart, Naofumi begins his journey of strengthening himself and his reputation. He ventures on a journey to acquire different ability and survive amid demon outbreaks. As the representative of the Sealed Hero, Naofumi must fight for the survival of the kingdom and protect the people of Malmuma from their ill-fated future. The genre of this anime is action, adventure, drama, and fantasy. The theme is isekai. Rating is PG-13 and episodes are 38. If you like sweet revenge in the end of the animes, this is the good anime. You're gonna feel angry when you see the first episode, but in the end, you feel some sort of satisfaction.
世界へあなたはつい先ほど不幸にも亡くなりました
Konosuba. Konosuba is a light novel series written by Nasumi Asasuki and illustrated by Iron Misuma. The series follows Kazumo Sato, a neat teenager who is sent to another world after getting hit by a truck. He gets excited about his new life, but after realizing that it is way more dangerous than the real world, all his hopes go down. With no extraordinarily special power, following his death, Kazuma formed a dysfunctional adventure party with the goddess of water, who's cry more than helping, and an arch-wizard who just explode everything, and a pervy crusader. He soon realized that his afterlife is going to be terrible and nothing is going to be what he dreamed about. The genre of this anime is adventure, comedy, and fantasy. The theme is isekai, parody, and reincarnation. This is PG-13 rated anime, and this anime has 21 episodes.
必ずお前を救ってみせ
Okay, last anime in our list. This is the favorite anime of mine, is ReZero. ReZero, starting a life in another world, is a well-known isekai anime where main character is transported to another world. Subaru, a good-for-nothing NEET, on his way to the convenience store, suddenly gets transported to a parallel world with just a bag of grocery in his hand. There he meet a girl named Stella who help him with the situation while dealing with the new world catastrophe that result in his death. Though he is always revert to the point in the time where he can make substantial change with no luck and support. Subaru begins his journey in this fantasy world where life can be start again and again but from zero. The genre of this anime is drama, fantasy, suspense. The theme is isekai, psychological and time travel. The rating is R17. The total episode is 50. With that, this is the end of this video. Which of the following anime where main character is transported to another world is your favorite? Feel free to comment down your thought and make sure to recommend some other anime like the ones shown in this video. And also don't forget to share this video with your fellow otaku friends. And with that, bye.